Hello everybody, I'm here today with Bill Green and with Blue the dog, but Blue is going. We've just been trying to record a song and every time I blew harmonica he starts barking. Bill, I've seen you a few times playing with the Roby Millbillies.
Oh, yeah, two bands actually, Roby Millbillies and Billy and the Temperamentals.
Billy and the Temperamentals. And I just wondered if you want to just give us a few minutes talking about how you got into music and what your first influences were and that.
Well, I suppose the first influence was my dad who played mouth organ, but he was a terrible tutor. He just said
mouth organ as opposed to harmonica.
Yes, it was always called a mouth organ, never an harmonica.
No,
he said, yeah, you can learn yourself, but he didn't learn me anything. So I was very, very late to coming in. I couldn't call myself a musician by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm in two bands, so I must be a bit there. But I was, how I got into it was somebody bought me a banjo when I was 39, and it gathered dust behind the TV for 6 months. Then I saw another of Jim's guests who's been here, Ken Skelly. I saw him playing banjo in a pub, and I just said to him, "I've got a banjo. Will you show me the rudiments?" And he came round my house for 3 months and gave me a lot of homework, and 3 months, not for 3 months, 3 months Saturday morning, sorry, he didn't move in with me, it wasn't that kind of relation. And that was it, and then I sort of taught myself mandolin because I thought it was a lot easier than playing 5-string banjo. And,
you're good. I like listening to your mandolin, but what about guitar? How did you learn guitar?
Well, I only picked the guitar up when I was fortunate enough to kind of finish full-time with it when I was 50, so I didn't play guitar till I was about 52 or 3, I suppose. And I still can't play it proper. But they sometimes let me play the guitar in the bands. Well, one of them the bands does anyway. But that's it. Billy and the Temperamentals, which was the second band that I played another one called Three Chord Trip, but that's a long tale. But Billy and the Temperamentals, how we came into being was we'd practiced in a pub in Wigan for about Wilf Roden's stage door. Actually, we'd practiced in for 6 months to get a set together. And he said to me, "I'll give you your first gig on Easter Monday, Easter Sunday, same pub upstairs. I'll give you this first gig." So, okay, he says it was Easter. Anyway, we arrived, and he said, "What do you call yourself?" I said, "Just put the A-board outside and just put band tonight." I said, that'll be enough. Anyway, we arrived, unloading all the gear, and he's written Billy and the Temperamentals on the A-board. And I says, what's that about? He said, "For the last 6 months, all you've done is I've listened to you every Thursday night, just falling out, all 6 of you." So that was it, really. But that first gig was...
It's a good name, it's stuck, didn't it?
That first gig, Jim, was... it was very, very memorable for non-musical reasons, really. I don't know if people would be interested in this, but we were basically doing Irish songs, and we were singing this Waterboys number. But Wilf's bar upstairs, it was just a flat. It was a flat dance. Well, of course, it was a flat dance floor. We're on the dance floor, but there's no stage. But it happened to coincide with the end of a Great Britain Rugby League series defeat to the Aussies, and the whole of the Great Britain squad were actually in the bar.
So they played at Wigan?
Yeah, they played at. They might have played that afternoon, but they lost the series. I remember they'd lost the series 2-1, and the whole of the Great Britain squad were actually in the bar watching us. So there's like about 25 great big giant lads all in front of us, But two in particular. So we starts off and we're singing a long Waterboys song. Lindsay was my first love, and I could see Sean Long, who was a very, very famous rugby player, about 2 yards in front of me, stood next to Brian Kearney. Right. And so we're playing, and he's getting really excited, Sean Long. And he gets his part and he just pours it over Kearney's head. And I'm like, "Oh no, Lindsay was my first..." And Kearney goes, I could see Kearney went, "Stop it." Anyway, just excitement, no problem. Bear in mind now, there's factions split in that Great Britain side. There's the Leeds faction, there's a Wigan faction, there's a Saints faction, there's an whatever. They're all over. Anyway, comes back from that, and the song's still going on. We're up to like whatever. She's living in Australia, looking for an auction. And he stands next to Carney again and does it again. Pours the pint over it. I thought, oh no, God. Anyway, Carney, being a much bigger lad, because Sean Long's a scrum half, he just turned him upside and speared him into the floor. He said, stop it, stop it, stop it. Well, there was a melee. It was like the Blues Brothers. When the Blues Brothers were singing Raw Hard and they're throwing things at them.
Protect your instruments.
And at the back of all this, it was handbags really, there was no big fall, it was a lot of pushing and shoving and shouting. And at the back of them all is the landlord, Will Flaw, going, carry on, Billy, keep singing. Anyway, that was
a good tale.
That was the first ever gig we did, I think, as Billy in the Thames.
And where's the Roby Millbillies come from?
Well, the Roby Millbillies, I got a phone call about in 2016 from a good friend of mine, good old friend of mine who I knew from Ince, and more of Ince, tell you some Ince tales. And he said, we're thinking of forming a band, will you come and play a bit of rhythm guitar? And I said, well, I don't play much guitar, me. And he said, well, let's have a try. And then we pitched up, fantastic lineup. Mick Hannon, all these lads have been playing in bands for like 40 years, and I'm the novice. Mick Hannon been singing, even sung at the Cavern, he's got a brick on the wall and everything. Wow. And he's a great singer. Jerry Kennedy, great mouth organ player, fantastic guitarist. Barry Hammond played bass in bands since he was 12. Who else am I forgetting? They'll shoot me. They'll shoot me now.
You'll be in trouble.
Anyway, we practiced first in Jerry Kennedy's house, and it was in Roby Mill. So we're tossing names around. I just said, well, one of us, somebody said, what about Roby Millbillies? And that's how it came to me. That's how it came to me.
What is that even though West Hall's only 5 mile away from Wigan, and it's 5 mile away from Bolton, it's like West Staunton is like a bit of both, if you like. I mean, I always felt an affinity.
It's a hybrid, isn't it?
I always felt an affinity, more of an affinity to Wigan because the lads I knew, and I used to work on a farm in near Indley, Common, I should say, on the way to Indley, and I felt more of an affinity to, even though I went to school in Bolton, you know. But Wigan has got a pretty vibrant scene, hasn't it? I think in music.
Oh yeah, and I think I think with all the clubs closing down, all Labour clubs and Socialist clubs, Liberal clubs closing down, the pubs have actually taken over because there's all that talent still there bubbling under. It has to go somewhere. And really, I credit Chris Dock, who I was in a band with for 20 years. He was the landlord at the Bowling Green when we first formed the Billy and the Thames, and then he had the Royal Oak. He started putting bands on Sundays, and it's proliferated. You can go to Wigan now on Sunday afternoon. There'll be about 5 places with live music, 5 or 6 places with live music on. So I credit Chris Dock, who's a very, very good friend of mine, and we had some great times till he jacked in with the band a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So, but you said you were a late starter.
Yeah.
But what sort of? I think you've got quite eclectic tastes. Tell us a bit about your musical influences and when you first got into it and that.
Well, I like soul and blues, and I mean I've got a whole long list here in front of me of I don't like the word eclectic, but I am got eclectic: soul, blues, R&B, reggae, Celtic soul, Celtic rock, country and western, what I call clever pop. So I'll play anything, which I think is annoying to some of the people in the band when I want to play some soul music. But anyway, John Lewis, who's the bassist in Billy and the Thames, when he joined us, when I said, let's do some soul music, and he said, I'll never play soul music. And guess what? I won him over. Yeah, so now we do play a few soul numbers, but what was the question again?
Well, I know about your influences. You see, I know when I've seen you go. Let me just explain to people. During the lockdown time,
this is how I know you.
A lot of us would put songs on. I put songs I'd written on, or songs out. And people from Wigan. I got involved with quite a few people from Wigan who were putting, and they created a thing called Snug Session Strumming Society, which I've been to a couple of times. But I noticed that you would do not just folk songs or country songs, you do soul songs, you do pop songs, you do songs that you wouldn't normally associate with an acoustic guitar. So that I like that, you know, I like that.
It's because the simple 3 chords and a minor chord. That's the reason, and I can wail along with them.
Well, when I met my wife Melanie, was Northern Soul. She was always into. She was good dancing at the casino and all that. And I were in Old Triangle Folk Club, so we were at chalk and cheese. Yeah. She didn't like what I...
Opposites attract you.
Well, exactly. And we're still together after 47 years, so it must have worked. But but I love some of them. So I'll tell you, some of them, I don't know what the genre, what the link is, but stuff like Indiana Wants Me, there's a Ghost in My House, R.D. Taylor, there's stuff like that. But quite a lot of the Tamla stuff and that I liked.
I'll tell you just a little vignette of what happens. I mean, I'd rather just busk in a pub than if the mood's up and the landlord will let you play. I'd rather just play tunes. And you're on about soul music. I mean, I can get away with playing a few bit of soul music on the mandolin. But I was in a pub in Manchester called the Circus. Now, some people might know the Circus. It's one of the tiniest pubs in Manchester.
Yeah,
the bar is only maybe like 3 feet long. And there's 2 tiny rooms, but I'll get to the point in a minute. So anyway, I'm sat in with my girlfriend one Saturday evening, and there's 3 lads from Norway, came in, and they're chatting away, and he says, "What's this? What's this instrument?" Yeah. I said, "Oh," and the landlady says, "Play if you want, Bill." So anyway, at the same time I'm getting manly now, 3 or 4 girls from Bolton come in, similar age to these young lads from Norway. Yeah. And I could see them like looking across and flicking their eyes at each other. I thought, "Oh, hey up. So anyway, he says, one lad says, "I give you this, will you play a tune? £5." What? I said, "Of course I will." No problem. So I played whatever I played, and then I could see the girls looking across, and then they're swanking, these lads. And the other one goes, "I give you this, will you play another?" I thought, I'll get them up dancing. So I started playing Heaven Must Have Sent You by the Elgins. Yeah. Right, so then they're mixing, they're up dancing in this tiny room, and the other one goes, "I give you this." So I ended up with 17 quid for four songs.
Wow, fantastic! That's a good busking rate.
That was playing at that was just playing the odd Motown or soul song.
I love. Is this your mandolin? Is it?
It is.
Well,
yes.
I just want to get it out, Billy.
It's a top notch case. You know what I mean?
I like, yes, only the best will do.
I've sewn a bit of towel in it. Anyway. It's done a bit of track. I bet it's not in tune. I don't see.
Well, I would say it's about I just want you to have a look at it. You don't have to play it. I just want to have a look. It's a beautiful instrument.
It's a cheap one, actually.
Is it?
It's my favourite. It's my favourite.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, lads, I sat on my favourite and smashed it to bits.
And you can plug it in, can't you?
Yeah, it plugs in.
Which is
great. Next to nothing. It cost me about 60 quid off John O'Grady. And when he heard me play it in the band, he went, "How much did I charge you for that?"
Yeah.
It's worth about £1,000, he said.
Yeah.
It's done. Yeah. Anyway, cheap mandolin.
Very nice.
Sounds okay.
But we're going to have a do with this after. We're going to do another song, and but I like I said before about me coming from West Horton and that. So I'm not familiar. There are certain venues in Wigan that have music on regularly. There's that one underneath the railway line, isn't there? What's it called?
Central.
Wigan Central.
The Snug Sessions Strummer Society are back after a bit of a moving around. They're back at the Tap and Barrel, and it was as you mentioned, it became an online thing after being a pub every one Friday afternoon a month in the Pear Tree. Then went to the Tap and Barrel. Then we had the lockdown, and so a couple of them, I think, decided to start a thing online, and it was brilliant for the community. It was brilliant because people are on their own. And it's worldwide. People watch that. I know I have mates in Australia, I've got mates in America, and they all watch it. So it was a great thing. So fair play to the likes of Colin Winsley and co for doing it. But yeah, there's the Tap and Barrel has music on every week. They have occasional on Swan and Railway. They have the Central, the Central Bar in Walgate. There's the Real Crafty, where we're playing on Good
Is that
Friday.
the big one?
The big one is
Yeah.
Real Crafty, where we're playing on Good Friday. 3 bands.
Well, Bill,
Price of one.
Bill says, come to this Friday afternoon session at this Real Crafts. I said, aye, all right. So I goes there and I did a few songs, gets back in my car, I got a parking ticket.
There's cobbles outside, it looks like it's free, but it's not.
So I'm not missing. But there's a lot of lads. I mean, the people who have had here already from Wigan is, and because I've known Ken Skelly since I was about 20 or even 18 and 19. I used to be in a group called the Old Triangle at Red Line Folk Club, which was a fantastic folk club. And Ken used to come with a lad called John Oliver, who ended up in Autumn Weavers,
right,
with my brother and Norman and David. But Ken's been here, and also Lawrence Hoy,
he's a man of the people. Lawrence.
He is for sure.
Yeah.
He retired. Well, he says he's a retired teacher. I think he's
still managing the football team after 40 years or something. Turning out when he was 65.
Amazing. But let us. What about Ince? Tell us a bit about Ince.
I'm from Ince, as most people know, and I seem to have been dubbed with a nickname called the Prince of Ince, and people think it's just because Prince and Ince rhyme. But I'll tell you a brief tale about its origins, and it's nothing to do with the rhyme. When I was working very, very hard, which wasn't very often, but in the 90s, I came home on Friday night and I went straight to the bowling green. It was like 10 o'clock and I've been working every hour I got sent that week. And I went into the pub vault in the bowling green, and there's a debate going on. Horrible stuff, but also banter about immigration and this. And this lad starts to go on wax about the Albanians control crime now in London. How bad's that? And I just said, I'm not bloody bothered who controls crime, whether they're bloody Brits or from Timbuktu or Albania. And he squares up to me. Well, I'm Stone Cold Sam. I'm my first band of the night, and it's 10 o'clock, and they've been all out for a while. And he squares up to me, and I'm stood at the bar, and I went, you better get away, because I was terrified. I'm a big coward. I said, you better get away, because I'm sober and you're drunk. And he backed off. Yeah. And John Lawton says, oh, the Prince of Ince! And Prince Nassim Hamid was a great boxer at the time. So that's the origins of the Prince of Ince.
I thought you were like royalty, you know.
Oh, well.
But, so... But like I said, one question I wanted to ask you: how does a born and bred Wiganer become
I know what this question
a Bolton Wanderers fan?
I've written a tale about this recently, but if you've got time to listen to it, I hope we're not boring you to death.
Oh, we're
but as a 10-year-old, I used to watch Wigan Athletic, and it was walking. It's 2 miles, and I was there. And
well, they were in very low division.
They were non-league, and they were Northern Premier League. Northern Premier League hadn't even been formed. It was they were playing in the Cheshire League, and I went down to my mates, 15 Eber Street, Irons, to Brian Croft's house, knocked on the door 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, and he couldn't go. So I trudged home disconsolate. And there's a lad next door, we lived on Terrace House. There's a lad from next door but one who's 13, a lad called Alan Jones. And he's borrowing a cup of sugar at our back door. And he says to me, we're going to Bolton today. I was going, Bolton, second division? He said, yeah, oh, Bolton. So I says, Mum!
It's like going abroad, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never been out of England at all. I've been walked it to Wigan. Mum, can I? No, you're only 10, Billy. And I goes in, and she's giving him this cup of sugar, and I brush his past, and I said, Dad, tell me, Mum, I can go. Yeah. And he just says, the lad, Daddy said, ask her again. What have you said that to him for? He's only 10. Anyway, that was it. I went with him. They lost 1-0 to Plymouth Argyle.
So it's familiar.
They lost. Eddie Hopkins broke his little finger. Alan Jones, the lad who was born in the club, never went again, and I never stopped going. And it's been a trial for most of my life.
It's my brother Tony was a real big Bolton Wanderers fan.
Oh, he also went to school in Italy as well, which meant there was a lot from West Norton.
Yeah,
from West
and you got that.
Yeah.
But our Tony played for Wigan Athletic reserves. When he was, because he was a good goalkeeper, actually.
Right.
And so he was key. He had an affinity to Wigan Athletic, but he was born and bred Bolton Wanderers fan, and like you say, it's a bloody hard job into being a Bolton Wanderers fan.
Oh, terrible! It's been terrible most of the time. It's a bit like heroin. Can't stop
You
it.
can't give
I've
it up.
tried my best. I moved to Sheffield for a few, about 7 years. I was driving back from Sheffield to watch 3rd and 4th division matches Saturday afternoon. They were awful, but I watched them anyway.
You what? Yeah. Well, what's amazing about this is it's music that brings us together.
Yes.
And I think it is universal. I've noticed on the online stuff you've put on. I've got some friends in Africa. I've got some African friends and Nigerian lads. A lad from Zimbabwe. Americans, Australians who cotton on to it. And I've met you through music, and I think that's one thing that no matter what the politics are, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're highly intelligent, whether you're not that intelligent, that music does sort of unify
it gets
us.
people together. It does unify. You've got a common goal. I mean, I go to Greece a lot. I'm fortunate enough now I'm retired to go to Greece quite a lot, and all sorts of nationalities from all over Europe and South Africa and Aussies. And we always just sit around and have a strum. And
do you take an instrument with you when you go?
Always.
Good lad.
I've got a little baby tailor that I've played once or twice, and I've got the mandolin. But the mandolin, I've got a big enough suitcase to get in the mandolin, and trying to get a guitar on the plane without paying, it's a work of art. You've got to dodge and weave and hold it behind you, and then you've got to get through. Anyway, sometimes I have to pay, but in the main I usually sneak the guitar on, because they want 90 quid.
I know.
90 quid to put a guitar on.
Well, let me tell you, this is your thing, but I've got to tell you this tale. When I've spent 7 or 8 years busking in France in summer,
Brilliant.
when my half Melanie lives over there permanently, and I was over there when Tony phoned me up and said the hot waves had lots of health problems, and can I come and help them out? And I thought, belting, yeah, I'd love to be.
I just first time I saw a Weavers was in Metal Box Canteen.
Wow.
In 1977.
Yeah, there's always a started. They only started in 75. So.
Anyway, sorry.
Any road. I've got a Gibson guitar. I bought this Gibson when I was 20. I'm 71. I've had it 50 years, and it's battered and all sorts. But I love that guitar. And I'd driven over, to with my guitar, and he wanted me to fly back so I could join him on this little. Well, they're always on bloody tour. They're always on bloody tour. So I think, what am I going to do with guitar? They're not throwing it in bloody old, because it's a bloody big hard case, Yeah. So I bought a seat for it. I bought a seat for guitar and a seat for me on Ryanair. It's not that dear, anyway. But the guitar got the window seat, and I was in the middle of this other thing, and I was sat there with guitar. There's these two.
Like the beauty.
These two women gets on and sits next to the guitar. I said, that it's with me, that guitar. She said, he doesn't say much, But anyway, that's it. I pay for it. So that guitar, which I still play now, has been flying around. So.
Yeah, I've got the baby Taylor guitar. It's small enough to kind of hide behind yourself when you're going through airports.
It's a beauty. Hey, Bill, it's been a fantastic little chat. This will be one of many. Jim's Kitchen videos are going to carry on, and I want to welcome Bill back in the future. But it's been great to see you today, Bill.
Thanks very much. I'm honoured.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jim.